What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. Today we're going to talk about one of the first steps. I'm not going to say it's the first step, but it is one of the first. It's the top three that we have to start doing if we're going to scale our business, because there's a lot of business that's currently already coming to you that you're missing out on. And one of the keys to this is listening to your calls and tracking your calls. I hope at this point you're to a point where you have a CSR. It's not you answering the phone anymore. If you're trying to grow your business, if you're out there hustling, this seems to be one of the key first steps to do is to go ahead and hire a CSR that can also do some administrative work. They may scan your receipts for you and email them to your bookkeeper or accountant. They may pull permits for you or get, establish licenses in the different counties and stuff that has to happen every year. Maybe register equipment for you if you're registering equipment for the customer once you sell it and install it. So there's lots of other duties that they can help with. Accounts receivable, making sure that stuff gets billed out. So accounts payable as well. So they can help you with lots of different things. And once you get to that point that you have that person, now it's time to really dig into the meat and potatoes, because you're probably losing a lot of business. The thing is we always have this idea in our head that, oh, no, we do well. I mean, we book 10 out of 10 calls that comes in, or we book 9 out of 10 calls. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're not measuring that stuff, you really have no idea. You are guessing. And so we've got to stop guessing. You've got to get out of the mindset of guessing, period. If you're going to grow your business, you need to know for a fact we're booking this many calls or we aren't. Also find out how many calls you're missing. If somebody's answering the phones either in your office or remotely, you're probably not there all the time, depending on what stage you are in your business. And so they could be going to the restroom and not taking the phones with them and missing calls. And I understand that can happen, but we need to get back on the phone as soon as we get out of the restroom and call that customer back. So is that happening? I can tell you one of the things that when I first realized that this needed to happen in our business, and I started listening to calls, it made me cringe. I mean, the way that the customers were being handled, and the way that the tone of voice, and it was horrible. It was horrible. So you have to start listening to that stuff. I know when I was there in the office, it never sounded that bad. But as soon as I step away from the office, or it's an after hours call or a weekend call, some of those did not sound good at all. They were almost combative, short with the customer, and this customer is just needing help. So you've got to start listening to calls to make sure that that's not happening in your business. If you are forwarding the phones to your technician on the weekends and weeknights, stop that shit right now. Stop it. Absolutely no, because those customers are not being handled properly. I promise you. If that technician just sat down for dinner and a customer calls, he's not going to answer, or he's going to have an attitude, a chip on his shoulder because his dinner got interrupted. And I understand from a technician's mindset how that happens. I get it, but that's for you to fix. You're the business owner, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Stop letting your technicians answer the call. No. Pay your CSR or take it home yourself. Pay them extra for every call that they book, every call they answer, however you want to do it, or pay yourself extra and you take the phones home at night to book those calls. So, and then you obviously got to have clear stipulations around when I call you, you have to call me back within 10 minutes, period, no exceptions, or you're getting written up. There has to be clear, drawn line in the sand in the job description on how this works. Because when you have a technician answering the phones, we all know that, I was charging my phone. Oh, I just ran in to watch a movie with the kids and I left my phone in the bedroom. No, unacceptable, completely unacceptable. Stop sending phones to your technicians right now. And if you're not listening to your calls and you can't see the call volume come in, then you don't know how many calls you're missing also. So if you want to increase your revenue right away, take the phones from your technicians. Do not send them to Do not forward your phones to the technicians after hours or over the weekend. The cringe experiment, like listening to these calls will absolutely make you cringe. How would you want, I know from a business owner standpoint how I want my customers to be treated. I want to know how that first interaction goes, because that's like a crucial interaction. That's the very first touch point in the business, is when they call your business. So you got to make sure that it's a good experience, or they may call somebody else sheerly because of the way they were treated all over the phone. So think to yourself, how would I want my customer to experience calling my business? And then make it happen and enforce it. That's the hardest part, but you got to enforce it. So now that you can track calls, we need to know how many calls you're getting. And once we know how many calls you're getting, then we can figure out how many calls are actually being booked. So if you had 100 calls come in a week and you booked 50 of those, well, that would be a 50% booking rate or booking percentage. That would be horrible. That would mean that you're missing out probably on millions and millions of dollars. If that was just for 1 week, you could increase your revenue by a couple $1,000,000 easily just by getting way better on the phones and booking more calls. It would also force you to grow. You would have to hire more technicians and everything else if you're already maxed out and you're missing those calls. Once you know that, then you'll take that number of calls divided by the number of booked calls divided by the number of calls, and that's going to tell you your booking percentage, your phone booking percentage. And once you know that, then and I can tell you minimum low end would be 85% book rate, but really it needs to be 90-95%. So if that's not what you're getting, once you start measuring this, then you've got to improve that, because here's why. And here's what I told you earlier that I was going to get to on the why, is because once you take the average ticket of all the calls booked, including jobs sold and install money, and you actually monetize that, and you realize that every phone call that comes into your business is worth thousands of dollars. Once you realize that, you'll stop missing calls and you'll start treating those calls as a priority of getting way better on the phones and getting way better at booking those calls, because simply by increasing your booking rate, by developing some skills or getting some training, that you're essentially growing your business. You're going to do more calls. You're going to gain more customers. You're going to sell more installs. You're going to sell more maintenance agreements by this one thing, just making sure that you book those calls. In order to know just how much that each call is worth, add it up and figure it out, because once you know that, you'll stop messing around with calls. Calls are a huge priority in any company. And just remember that what gets measured gets managed. So now that you measure these things, and this is just a couple of KPIs, there's numerous KPIs that we could track on top of this. But let's start with the basic when we start scaling our business. Let's start with how many calls are we getting a month, and how many of those calls are getting booked, and how much is each call worth. Just so we wrap our brains around what's happening, and it will help you ingrain the importance of these calls into your brain, so they're taken way more seriously. So do those things. And if you'd like to learn more about business and more about growing your company, and you want to add some more KPIs to that even, definitely can do that. Let's just have a conversation. Be sure to click the link below, book a call with me. We'll find out if you're a good fit to join HVAC Millionaire Coaching. If not, cool. If so, awesome. I just want to help you guys. The reason I do this is because I was in a lot of pain in my business for a lot of years. And because of that pain, I know what I learned, those certain things that I learned along the way. And once I learned those and began to implement them and follow them, completely changed the trajectory of my business, completely changed the trajectory of my home life, my health. It just changed my life. And so I want to help other people change their life by implementing these things that I've learned. And so I'd love to be a part of your journey and help you on that path and get you out of pain, because it's no fun. Can't have any fun when you're in pain all the time in your business. So love you guys. Book a call with me if you're interested. Go make money. Boom.